Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. My name is NISA, and today I want to do something a little different. Maybe I'll make this into a series, maybe I won't, but this is going to be called Mindful Drawing, where I go on r/mental health and just kind of pick out some posts that I see from people with the flair needing support or has a question about something relating to mental health, and I'll try my best to sort of give advice or interject like my personal experience, or just kind of talk about the post in general, my feelings on it. So the first post that I have here is called, the title is "Depression Has Made Me So Boring." I'm gonna read it, but I should be putting it on the screen if you guys are interested or curious. Okay, so depression has made me so boring. I've been dealing with a pretty bad depressive episode for the last couple of months, and I hate how boring it's made me become. Whenever someone asks me what I've been up to, I struggle to answer because I've legitimately been spending a lot of time now just doing nothing. Sitting on the couch, maybe while listening to some music, trying to muster the motivation to do something. If I really can't make myself do anything, I try to go for a walk to get some exercise and fresh air, but it's getting really cold here now, so that's becoming less feasible. It's hard to talk to people in general now because I don't feel interested or passionate about much. I don't really draw or read or do any of my hobbies much anymore, and when people ask me why, I don't know what to say because I actually have had a lot of free time. I just can't make myself use it productively anymore. I took pride in being a funny guy, but I rarely smile now, and I'm much quieter, and I don't think I've been very fun to be around in general, which is doubtedly hard because I've also been feeling pretty lonely. But it's hard to connect with people when I have so little to say and feel so distracted by my own misery all the time. I've gone through 2 depressive episodes like this before, and both times they eventually just went away after several months. I legitimately don't know what I did to improve things or what changed. I just suddenly started feeling like myself again. So I'm really hoping this happens this time too, but I feel like I shouldn't count on it and just wait passively. But I also don't know what I can do differently. I'm still trying to the best of my ability to push myself to do things, to keep up my responsibilities, to keep trying to socialize and not self-isolate. The longer things go on, the harder it gets to keep it up. So first of all, I just want to say bravo to this person for trying to at least keep up and doing stuff. I think I know for me, when I get into a depressive episode, I don't want to do anything but sleep, and I feel like I waste a lot of time doing nothing. And I just want to applaud you for you when you feel like you need to, you go and go for a walk or get some exercise and some fresh air, and that's super important for keeping yourself active mentally and physically. Honestly, I would say just don't be so hard on yourself, especially when it starts to get colder outside. The weather can make us feel more sluggish, more depressed, more sad. We're not as joyful or upbeat as we usually are, and that's okay. Human beings are pretty complex, but something that I've found with most people, especially people who are just predisposed to, having mood disorders or anything like that, is that when wintertime comes and there's less sunlight outside, you're getting less vitamin D, and therefore it does definitely affect your mood. And it kind of sucks, right? Because even though the environment is changing. I mean, even the world honestly is changing, and so many things happen in our lives, and the weather gets bad, and we're still expected to maintain these roles placed by our family, our friends, capitalism, And it sucks. But I mean, what can you do, right? You have to sort of like roll with the punches. But I want to reiterate, you're doing a fantastic job. I mean, listening to music definitely helps me a lot. Like anything that makes you not want to like jump off the edge of the cliff, I think is fantastic. So this person said that, they seem like they've gone through 2 depressive episodes like this before, and eventually it just kind of went away. But you're not quite sure like how you got to that point. Well, I think having a journal actually would really help in this instance, because when you're going through your day or your life, you might not, you won't remember everything that you did, everything that, like, how you felt, things that might have changed your disposition or your mental. So that's why like a journal is so important to just tracking your mood in general. You don't even have to do the whole like getting a journal and writing it in every day. I know when I was in my depressive episode and when I was starting to first take psych medication, I would get like mood apps. And the first thing I started doing was just saying, am I happy? Some of the apps, God, I wish I had like one in particular because I don't necessarily use them anymore. But if you just go on like the app store or whatever phone, store you have, like whatever store you have on your phone or electronic device, I would choose a device that you always have on you so that you remember. And I would put the app like right on the first page so that first thing in the morning, the middle of the day, and right before you go to bed, you're tracking how do you feel. And if anything like significant happened, I would just jot down one sentence like, today I had a fight with my friend. Today I went out and had a delicious meal. Like, just to see, what is it exactly that you're doing to make or not help your mood. As far as like doing, the exercise thing and not wanting to necessarily go outside and walk because it's very cold, and I completely understand that, I would suggest getting a stationary bike if you have room in your space to do so. I remember when I had a stationary bike, it was even just a lot easier for me, even when the weather was good, to just get on it. Like, it was very easy, just roll out of bed or off the sofa or whatever and just get on the bike for like 30 minutes to an hour. It's very helpful. You can also get a jump rope that do that for 15 minutes. Just anything to just jog your brain out of like that funky hazy state is really good. And as far as being the person you weren't, a couple months ago, not being the funny guy. Well, you said that you've been through these depressive episodes before. I think it's just like maybe it might be like a cycle you're going through, and something that maybe you, I don't want to say need to go through, but a lot of us, a lot of people in general just go through cycles of moods and dispositions in life, and it's just natural. Like, we're not always gonna be upbeat all the time. We're not gonna be sad all the time either, or angry all the time. It's just human to sort of fluctuate. So like I said, don't be so hard on yourself. Winter's here now, but spring is coming. Maybe for you, this is the time that you need to hibernate, and pushing yourself to do things might not be the best thing for you to do. Just my 2 cents on like that. Sometimes we need to just relax and take a step back from being productive. And I know it really sucks when you meet up with a friend or someone and they ask you, oh, what have you been doing like for the past couple of months, and you don't really have anything to say. Well, sometimes just saying I'm relaxing or, taking time out for myself to, because I've had a busy year, it's perfectly fine. To be kind of real though, like when I was really really depressed for years, and I wasn't doing anything, I was like isolating very heavily and not speaking to anyone. And then when I would come in contact with somebody, I'd always have like a little blurb that I would say, like a thing that I would state, like have in my head, that was very short and simple, that didn't necessarily leave room for like questions. um you know um I would say, like, I'm going to school, even if it wasn't true, to be perfectly honest, just to get people off your back, because I completely, like, we're not supposed to uh hold weight to what people really think about us, but like that's so not realistic. Like, it takes a lot of work to get to a spot where you're comfortable, especially when you're young, when you're comfortable with yourself, and you don't want to think about like what other people think about you. Some of us aren't there yet, and honestly, having a little pre-rehearsed comment or response is perfectly fine. Like, and I would just keep it like kind of vague. Like, depending on the person, I would keep it kind of vague, depending on like what you're also doing or not doing. I maybe you could even like flourish it, like dramatize it a little bit, whatever keeps them off your back and asking more questions. Okay, so the next post is titled, "Is it normal to break into tears instantly when someone is angry at you?" I'm 18-year-old female and I cry really easily, like embarrassingly fast. I don't even get a second to process anything. The moment someone raises their voice at me, especially family, tears just start falling. It's not dramatic crying, it's automatic, like my body reacts before my brain even understands what's happened. And I've been thinking about why this happens, and I have this feeling it might have something to do with how I grew up. When I was around 15, right when I was supposed to be going through that slow transition into maturity and emotional independence, I ended up being sent to hostel residential school away from home. And I think that in that period, instead of seeing my parents as authority figures who have a right to scold me or correct me, I started seeing them mostly as people who love, care, and comfort. But again, I'm not sure why this happens, but I just want to stop this. At this point, I feel extremely weak. Even my family thinks I just cry at extremely little things, but they just think I'm the youngest child in the family and have never faced any no's from parents. So when I do, I end up crying, but I don't think that's what it is. Has anyone felt this? How do you build emotional tolerance? Well, right off the bat, I want to say, like, in my personal opinion, I've never felt or seen crying as something weak people do. As a matter of fact, I think it's quite vulnerable and strong to cry in front of people. I know that's like not the popular opinion, but for me, as someone who kind of grew up in a household where emotions were not like shared very readily with other people, like that to me has always been like very like a trait that I admired. That's just like another way to look at this, I would say. As far as why it's happening, you might be right on the money with your thinking that maybe like you see your parents as comforting, loving and caring, and not necessarily as authority figures. So once they do raise their voice at you, you start to feel scared and some fear about, like your parents like not being in that role anymore and stepping into the more authoritarian role, which a lot of parents have to balance and do. But to note, you are 18 years old. I remember when I was 18, and even like from 14 to I want to say even 20, like I cried over every little thing. And or at least I wanted to cry over every little thing. It's just like the age and the hormones, and your brain is changing and your body chemistry is changing as well. So don't be so hard on yourself. It's, again, it's one of these things that's just kind of natural. And everybody kind of goes through it. You know, your family and whoever you might cry in front of might make you feel crazy, because it's kind of like they're trying to, or maybe it's impossible for them to, as an adult, kind of try to put yourself in your shoes. But I'm pretty sure even at when they were your age, there was some kind of like fluctuating feelings or extreme feelings. You know, now that I'm in my early 30s, I want to say, like, sometimes it's hard to put yourself in like a teenager's shoes. You know, they seem irrational, or like, what are they doing? Why are they thinking like that? But it's just how some teenagers are, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. You'll grow out of it, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Especially if you weren't necessarily like this before. You know, you said when you were 15 you went to that residential school, and that's kind of like, you know, that tells me a lot about, like, from 15 to 18, like, you're kind of, you know, your body is changing, and, you know, your mental is changing. Therefore, it does definitely fit into the bracket of you are a teenager and you're just kind of going through the motions of being a teenager. But how do you build emotional resilience or tolerance, as you said? Well, I think the number one way to build emotional tolerance is just time, and not necessarily shutting and isolating yourself from people, or being afraid that because you will be emotional that you should try to avoid conflict. Because eventually what will happen is, if you try your best to avoid conflict, you're never going to learn anything, and you're never going to get used to or see the triggers or the signs in which will make you emotional. Because you're isolating yourself, you're just going, and you're afraid you're just going to stay the same because nothing is challenging you. I would also say, if you have a counselor at your school and you feel comfortable talking to them, I would just go for it. Just say, hey, like, you know, I feel really emotional these days and I just don't necessarily understand why. And maybe talk about some of the actual events that happened where you did cry. And, you know, maybe the adults or the counselor can help you understand, like, why it is that you're at that moment, like, freaking out or crying, like, so suddenly. Maybe, you know, they can help you learn to process those emotions as opposed to just instantly reacting. Because sometimes for people who are, like, very emotional, it's hard when you're in those negative emotions to see, like, rationally what is happening. You know, your parents might have raised their voice at you, but in their eyes it's not even like a big deal. They're just a bit frustrated, or maybe they're just talking a bit more sternly because they kind of have to, because they're your parents. But it's probably not even like that big of a deal. But as an adult who is not necessarily the same age as you, they have that perspective of, like, well, this is not so bad, you know. You could even, if you have friends too, like, you can talk to your friends about it, if you feel like you need that support of, like, you know, my friends are kind of going through the same thing with their parents. Ultimately it kind of just boils down to, like, you just got to talk about it, and you got to give yourself time, and also do things emotionally that will challenge you. because in the long run, that's what's going to build up that emotional tolerance, that emotional resilience. Okay, so our last post for this video is called "How Do I Deal with Academic Depression?" The person says, "I was always a really good student in high school and maybe near perfect grades, but in my first semester of college, I completely bombed everything. I'm only passing 1 out of my 5 classes. What upsets me the most is that one of the classes I'm failing is only that bad because I had a scheduling mishap and missed an exam that I studied for tirelessly. I didn't realize how much this would affect me, but I've been sluggish and silent for the past week. Whenever I think about it, I start crying again because I put so much effort into my classes only to have to retake all of them. I've been having to stay over at my friend's house because when I'm alone, I get too depressed. I probably sound dramatic, but I really have no one to reach out to about this. Has anyone been in a similar situation? And if so, how on earth did you deal with the guilt? I'm trying not to be hard on myself, but I keep getting more and more depressed." So I just want to say, like, right off the bat, if you feel like college is a bit much at the time for you, take a break. Don't continue to try to take classes and mess up your financials. Because I don't know your situation as far as like if you're taking out loans to go to college or someone is paying that money for you to go. But if you feel like at this point that you need a break, you should totally take the break. So when I graduated high school, like a million years ago, I actually didn't wait even till the summer was over and go into the fall semester to go to college. I enrolled into college 2 weeks, or started taking classes 2 weeks after high school was done. I just went right into it because I felt this pressure and this need to do well academically all of a sudden. It's very complicated. I'm not really going to get into it in this video, but I felt that pressure of like, I need to do well and I need to succeed in life so that I can have a good future and that I can make, my mother and my other guardians and people who raised me proud of me. Which was so strange for me and strange for everyone else kind of around me, because even though I was a very smart kid, I never took school seriously at all. I would always cut classes, but for some reason going to college, I was like, I need to buckle down. I need to do all the things right that I didn't do in high school and in middle school and stop like messing around. And even though I went to college and did very, very well in the first year, slowly my mental health started to degrade, and I didn't know what was happening to me at that. Well, now I know in hindsight that I was actually developing like schizophrenia and other things that was happening were affecting me from the past. I didn't even take into account those things, those like feelings of like depression and anxiety, and I just wanted to. The pressure was so surmountable in that, like, the pressure that I was putting on myself, the pressure my mother was putting on me was so much that I didn't even think I should take a break. It didn't even occur to me that I should, and I spent so many years failing classes that I could have very easily passed. Even professors would be like, what is going on with you? You're not coming to class like you used to. When you come to class, you're clearly intelligent and know what's happening, but you're not handing in the work. You're not coming in for the exams. What's going on? Essentially, I got like the feedback, you need to get your act together. And I'm guessing that externally and internally you're saying the same thing to yourself. And I want to be that person that tells you, hey, if you need to take a break from school, just do it. Take a sabbatical. Even if it's like a semester, and you need to like, maybe you might want to work or do an internship or just relax. No one necessarily talks about like how tough the transition from high school to college is for a lot of people, especially if you go away to a different state and you're away from your family. It can be tough. It can be really tough. Even if you live at home, which is what I did, that can also be really tough too. And honestly, I don't think you're being dramatic. These are your feelings, and you have every right to feel however you want to feel as well. I just wanted to put that out there as well. How do you deal with the guilt? That's very tough. That's a tough thing to try to explain, but I'm gonna try my best to. First of all, you have to internally realize like what is making you feel guilty. Is it the pressure from yourself? Is it the pressures from your family? Or are you comparing yourself to other people in your classes? Are you comparing yourself to your old high school self? I think once you've realized where the guilt is coming from, you can take steps to sort of figure out what it is you need to do to try to like decrease that guilt. I remember every time I took a break from school, I felt very guilty. But I felt guilty because I thought I should be doing better. I put the expectations that my immigrant family had on me on my shoulders and felt like I'm first generation American. I have to do better than my family. I have to sort of, like outgrow them in a way like success wise. And once I realized that that was not necessarily my job as a human being, as a person living on this earth, that my choices were mine and my life was mine to live, it became a lot easier dealing with that guilt. And eventually it sort of dissipated. I have 130 college credits and I only need 2 classes to get my bachelor's degree. But to be perfectly honest, I'm taking my time to do it because it's not necessarily the fact that I couldn't do it academically, but giving myself the space and the time to do it is so important to me. And that's the thing as well, you can always go back to school. I've gone to, when I was like, 17 in college, like I went to classes with people who were ranging from like my age to like in their 50s, and it was so admirable. Maybe some people found it embarrassing, but personally I my mom got her PhD like in her 50s. Like, it's just like realizing that comparing yourself to other people and your old self and the expectations that other people have for you, it's just like not healthy. And that realization will get you really far. So maybe I'm assuming, but I think like once you realize that, the guilt will start to go away like it did for me. All right, everybody, that's all the posts for today. If you liked this content, please give the video a like, a thumbs up, or whatever the fucking I can't remember for some reason what the like button looks like. Or subscribe, share the video around. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope you have a lovely day or a lovely night. And also, if you have any comments on any of the posts, like any advice or any personal experience, please share them in the comments. I would love to know like your perspective on like what I read and what I commented on. Okay, bye.